Hello, hello.
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 Welcome
Hello.
Fuck, that was
to
loud.
the John Wow stream featuring the creator of Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. This is going to be a good stream. I'm looking forward to this.
Hello.
JOEVENO, would you like to say a few words and introduce yourself to the people?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Now I'm sounding like that I've been doing cigarettes for 20 years because I have a fucking terrible flu. Hell yeah. So yeah, I'm the creator of this fucking crazy game right here that you guys are seeing right now called Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. I open a portal to hell in the favela trying to revive me. I need to close it. Hell yeah, so I've been making games for a while and I really love wacky shit, and now here we are with this Brazilian thingy I made. Hell yeah.
And who else do we have here today? There's four of us in this together. Of course, the beautiful John Wow reacting to all this amazing gameplay. We have the creator, and who are you, Mister at No Quartersoft?
Hey, yeah, my name's Thud. I operate a publishing company called No Quarter Software. I've partnered with JOEVENO to kind of bring the Brazilian drug dealer franchise to the world, as it were. And I'm just along for the ride here to help. And I fucking love this shit. So I'm ready to play.
Brilliant. Joe, do you want to tell us a little bit, I guess, about how we have this custom map here. I mean, I'm likely going to go into some of the technical questions later on, but I mean, like, tell us about sort of the choice of engine and the development story a little bit about sort of this brilliant video game.
Well, it all started around 3 a.m. like I think May 26th, 2024. I was talking to my wife at 3 a.m. and something fucking clicked on my head, and I was like, hello, I'm gonna make a game called Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. I opened a portal to hell in the favela, trying to revive me till I need to close it. So then I did the first fucking map of the game. I posted on Twitter saying I'm gonna make a game called Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. I opened a portal to hell in the favela, trying to revive me till I need to close it. And then it got like 1 million views on Twitter, and people really loved the game, and the rest is history, That's how it all started.
I mean, let's see that map. John, let's get into that amazing first map of this brilliant video game.
Maps is basically what I would say if Basquiat was Brazilian, made Quake levels. That's basically the mentality while making this. Because I'm a big fucking fan of the creative method of Basquiat, So I try to make something similar to that. But if he grew up with community mods in Brazil, and he was Brazilian, and he was really into, I don't know, open source engines, especially Quake. That's basically the idea, of this weird ass looking level that basically doesn't use grids, Quake grids of, making like maps. It doesn't use grids. It's basically, I made games before with grids and shit, but I try to, because these engines these days don't have problems with like looking shit, like don't have problems with like, I don't know, having to seal a map and other shit like that. So I basically took the engine into its fucking limits with this, I would say, like there's no...
I must say, it's a thing that I noticed when I first sort of dropped into this, and anyone who sort of played a lot of Gary's mod, as John most definitely has, in that usually when you build a source engine, you sort of do make it sort of aligning to boxy corridors. If anyone's played the beginner's guide, then it would reference that as like, you know, within the source engine, it encourages you to make long boxy corridors. But even from this map that you crafted at 3 a.m. about a year ago, or more than that, you had the sort of aesthetic for the entire first game figured out.
Yeah, basically, it was the perfect storm, dude. I would say that. I was an outsider. I usually did games as just a hobby. I did 11 games before this one, and I wasn't planning to make it commercial, but people begged me to make it commercial, you know? People were like, hey, please put this shit on Steam, and I said to people like, we have the fucking money to pay Steam Direct. And people were like, well, we're gonna pay it. So I did like a small Kickstarter, just asking for around $100 to basically put this shit on Steam. And then I put it on Steam, and I remember that on launch day, Akita, the creator of Ultra Kill, paid it, and he loved it. Say that great things were coming out of Latin America right now. Yeah,
I think that's the best quote in the trailer. Whenever I show people the trailer for this video game, that's always gets them a nice giggle. I feel like as well, like, you know, this sort of had this virality on Twitter, but also had this sort of, you know, other game developers knowing that you were doing this sort of project. You know, you were from Latin America, from Brazil, like building this game using the Quake engine, sort of having this sort of very, very like strong aesthetic for the game. That sort of lived the way it's through. From like an actual development perspective, though, was this second level the second level that you made, or do things get a little bit non-linear from here on out potentially?
This was actually, I think, the last level before early access. Basically, this map is made by some friends of mine from the Quake project, and basically I turned that level into a favela map. You know, it's one of the levels that I use some, you know, Quake stuff in the game, but it's really modified. You know, there's now a football field, some alternative ways. I think there's around 2 to 3 levels in the game. There are actually not trenchable, but Quake levels heavily modified.
John. Let's play football. Let's go. He and John are playing football with Gibbs.
Oh,
I think as well,
Football
like
Gibbs.
Football Gibbs is brilliant. So, I mean, obviously, when people put this game, they look at these tiling textures on the walls and this brush model of a quick save button with what I think is a dog with a binky. I feel like you've potentially copied and pasted this binky brush quite a few times around quite a few levels. At what point did you decide to add that too? Because I had noticed I had actually boosted an older version of this game that I think had less of these, or basically none of them at all. So like you've obviously spent some time figuring out to have some level of you know, ease of replayability. Like you can quick save, but obviously function keys don't exist on like Android, for example. So I assume that was sort of part of making the game a bit more easier for people to play it.
Yeah, the idea was like, I was thinking of ways to modernize the engine. So basically, me and the guys would build a system that basically allows you to quick save by pressing the button. You know, I also try to get this opportunity as a way to basically also bring a new character, follows along journey with you. It's actually inspired by a character in Mega Man Legends called Data. It's a monkey that stays with the player all around the journey. And Shoot It Down is the name of the character, like your dog. It's actually the Silver's dog. He's with him all around the adventure. It was kind of a late addition to the game. I think I added him, I don't know, 4 months, 3 months before the end of the early access phase. Because also I really love the image of the doggy with a binky. It's also a really big meme here in Brazil. It's a really fucking big meme here in Brazil. one thing that I discovered is that this dog is actually Japanese, which is really weird because this meme is big here in Brazil, like really fucking big. I think it exploded first in Brazil, by the way. So
So it's a picture of a
random.
Japanese dog that exploded
Yeah.
in Brazil, and that you built a brushwork trench broom version of, and decided it would sort of be the mascot to represent the quick save system in the beautiful Brazilian Drug Dealer 3.
Yeah, basically that's it. He's also big part of the Silva's life. He's basically his dog, you know. Also, if you pay attention, you notice that the dog has a shirt on him from Flamengo, which is the Silva's favorite team. So the Silva is really in love with his dog. He really loves his dog, and he even made some costume clothes for his dog. There's some small lore related to it. Also, I think that Chupetão will have a bigger role in future games. That's something that I really planned to, because, you know, it's the Silva's dog. It's like his best friend, you know. So he's gonna appear more in future games. I'm even thinking of making him playable in one of the game's future, in the future, because I really think it would be cool as fuck, you know, to have like this buddy that could be playable, similar to the dogs in Medal of Honor, you know, like in first Medal of Honor, there's a secret level related to Nutcracker. That's where this idea came from. That there's dogs that go in bipedal mode and they basically start shooting you. So basically that's one of the ideas for a future game. You know, I really want to make sure that don't have a bigger role in future games.
Amazing. I see people messaging that John has to charge his headphones. I mean, as people know, John Wow Streams is a very focused gamer, so I think he's going to be spending a bit more time on the gameplay of this extremely extravagant video game. I'm the robot that he built to actually do this interview, so I can focus a bit more on the questions for JOEVENO and talk about Trench Broom and Quake and stuff. So we've gone from, give a bit of discussion, I guess, JOEVENO, on the lore. So we started in the favela, the first one. We've gone through the second favela, the Quake favela, which I didn't know. Very interesting. So where are we at this point in the lore?
We're now trying to find the main portal to like solve shit. Basically, the Silva, the whole journey, he kind of gets a bit lost. He is just trying his best to find clues on how to solve the shit. So he sometimes gets lost, sometimes he gets into weird places, sometimes get teleported into places he wasn't planning to go because of portals are kind of random. So now the Silva is on the Maracana Stadium. It's basically the most famous stadium in Brazil. It had a bunch of big shows, people like Paul McCartney, people like that. Was a big part of the World Cup in 2014, and it has a really deep story in Brazil. It's also one of the oldest stadiums, I think, worldwide, you know, like modern stadiums, you know. So basically the first part is like the museum inside the Maracana Stadium, because the Maracana Stadium has a kind of football history museum inside it, and I wanted to represent that. But because of the curse, you know, of you opening the portal, now everything is Mitaya photos, not footballers or...
That was my question I had lined up, which is basically everything is Medaya. Everything.
Yeah.
Obviously, this was a beautiful museum filled with modern art, but due to the opening, attempting to revive Medaya, everything is now Medaya.
Yeah, basically that's it. Mitaya has photos everywhere in the game because of the curse. It's one of the things that happen, you know. It's basically, I think, alongside Chupetão, one of the most consistent visual things in the game. He's everywhere.
100%. I've been asked to tell John specifically that by Athias Lil Sid that John, they love you. And I assume that I'm the British guy because of my accent, which makes logical sense.
A robot accent.
I mean, it is a robot accent. I think, Stephen Hawking was supposed to be British, but the voice that he was given was an American voice, and that unfortunately became his voice. Thankfully, by the time that John built me, he could actually use a British voice. So.
Oh yeah.
We've come a long way.
My God, intent.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So, this game, you built the level at 3 a.m. that we play the first level. How much time did you then, like, if Trench Broom was a game that you had on Steam, how many hours have you spent sort of doing brushwork, doing textures, building this beautiful float sort of funk train, I assume?
Yeah, it's
how much time was actually spent making the game?
Probably 500 hours by now.
Wow.
I opened Trench Broom so fucking much. The last 2 years, I think, already? Almost 2 years. Probably the program that I opened the most on my computer. It's basically...
Joveno hits me up like at least once a week with like, a new map, or it's probably even more frequent than that. It's like every other day there's like some new map or something he's done in Trench Broom. It's sick.
Yeah, and the last few times, I've been in a personal crunch mode to try to get Pre-4 out, and it's coming really fucking along really well. And I think I have already 14 levels by this point of the 18 levels that I plan for like this new game. I think I'm getting stuff really fast nowadays because I've been so... I don't see this as a job, you know. I like making maps, so it's really fucking cool for me. I have so much fun making maps. So maybe 500 hours isn't even the amount that I've been using Trench Broom. I think it's probably around 600 to 700 hours
It
already.
probably would be your most played game on Steam if it was a Steam game, potentially.
Yeah, for sure. By fucking far, you know. By far. Also, an interesting thing is that my most played game on Steam last year was VVVVV because of how much testing I did. And I've been a Master Chief Collection crackhead. So, like last year I was kind of a Master Chief Collection crackhead, so it's really impressive that VVVVV had more hours, you know. Also,
honestly,
Halo is a big thing for me.
Makes sense. I feel like, given your time spent in Trench Broom, like, do you have any opinions of the developers of Trench Broom, of features that you'd like to see in Trench Broom itself that would sort of make your workflow better for anyone that sort of spends time building Quake levels? I feel like you might be up there potentially as, like, the most time spent in Trench Broom. Maybe not completely up there, but definitely a contender for that position.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I want the most is probably protection. Trench Broom has a terrible problem of, like, if you do too much polygon, it tends to crash sometimes. For example, I was trying to look up into some levels I made in other engines, and I was trying to get, for example, the coronavirus level I did for a game that I made a long time ago into Trench Broom, and it was kind of so I think that not only for Doom, but for general PSP games, I think that Trench Broom is better support. It's not something that needs a focus on the engine, but it's something that personally I would really want to have, you know. I don't know.
Talking about
Quake
about levels though, so this level, I mean, you've got this extremely loud sound that plays. You'd explained this earlier to me, but what's special about the fact that this level has music, but you can't actually control the music of how deafening this sound is?
Well, it's basically because one of the things I was trying to do with VVVVV was trying to understand, well, games are basically a canvas for me to create something. Just like a canvas in real life. You do whatever the fuck you want. You get like the colors, the aesthetic you want, and like the execution of the idea. And I was like, how can I make things that people don't expect? And one of the things that I tried to make was something a bit similar to Hideo Kojima, messing around with standard stuff in gaming. Hideo Kojima, for example, one of the most famous things he did was like uh, the the thing of changing ports of the controller, you know, or in MGS2, like the kernel saying, "Raiden, turn off the console right now." And I was like, well, how can I do wacky, crazy shit like that in a game? And I was like, I really want to make this fucking loud level that you can't reduce volume. And I had this wacky idea of turning the music into actually an ambient sound. So you can't reduce the volume of music on the Salga level. It's really wacky.
It's amazing.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I just rocket jump skipped that at first try. That felt great.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
Oh,
the
God,
song that's playing right now is made
Banger.
by my good friend DJ Dengue. He's from the Rio de Janeiro scene from breakcore, and I did basically a remix of his song. And this song, by the way, is actually Beethoven. It's a Beethoven track that basically was turned into a gabber. This is a gabber song, by the way, and basically I turned the shit as loud as I could. I changed the tone to make it more intense. That's how I made this song. Also, this level is a reference to a Mexican show called Chavo del Ocho that here in Brazil is called Chaves. It's really fucking popular here in Brazil, dude. Probably one of the most popular shows ever in Brazil. And I wanted to make a homage to it. For example, this boy, Keys, is inspired by Chavo, because Chaves is keys in Portuguese, you know? Like keys you put into doors and shit, you know? Also, this big ass enemy is a capybara, by the way, a mutant capybara, you know? This is a mutant capybara.
I love the sound that it makes when it finally dies. I find it's not a very loud enemy, but when it dies and it sort of lets the sound,
Yeah,
that's
no.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked a lot about sort of like textures and like development and stuff, but obviously a big part of this game, and you've had a recent Spotify release of this, the soundtrack. Tell us a bit about, I guess, your musical background and sort of like your you know what you did in musically before this game, and then you know some of the choices of sounds and genres that sort of piece together the soundtrack to this video game.
Personally, the soundtrack is kind of like a bit of my musical history as a Brazilian musician. I started at first as a punk rock member of a band of punk rock, you know. I was a punk rock dude. I really loved making abrasive, loud sounds, loud music. I was always keen to making loud fucking music. It was my thing. And not only because of punk rock, I remember the first time that I did music was in 2019. And it was like getting my guitar and putting the microphone alongside it to a fan and make it as loud as possible and trying to get it into the tone at the same time that was the fan. So I was always into abrasive fucking weird sounds. Then I decided to go out of my punk band and I went into a solo career. And then I got into the breakcore scene from Rio de Janeiro. And then I did a lot of songs. I met a lot of really fucking cool people like DJ Dengue. He basically made this song that you guys are hearing right now. And also, I met a lot of cool guys like Astrophysics, Andrea, really cool guys, Gabriel, the drum and block guys. Basically, I was really deep into this breakcore scene, doing shows and shit.
There's that telefragging that I was told about.
Hell
yeah.
yes.
Good
It's a
stuff.
feature.
Yeah. And then, basically, the soundtrack came naturally before the game. Almost all the songs in the soundtrack are songs that I made as a DJ. And songs that I made sometimes just for myself. And I was like, I have some really cool fucking songs I made here. My friend Jay Dang did a really cool song, and I was like, well, I'm gonna put it into the game. It really fits the vibe. Also, some of the
Do you feel like
songs
some of the musical choices potentially influence the levels and the map design as well? I find when I'm editing videos, I usually like picking a music track to then edit the rest of the video around, like, you know, from like an actual inspiration perspective. If the music came first, how would the music affect the levels?
Well, basically, I would look into the level and say, well, the song really fits this really crazy, wacky structure of the level. And then after choosing the level, the song, initially some of the levels were already made, but I did changes to the levels. For example, the 5th level initially didn't have me as a DJ. I know that's weird. It had another. I think it had just Andrea. Andrea is the other guy playing with me. And when I decided to put Salga, I put like the song Salga. I was like, man, I really need to put myself into this. Makes a lot more sense. So some of the changes in the game came up because of songs too. And also, especially in 3-4, some of the songs inspire levels. For example, I have a beach level for the next game, and I did a really loud funk song that sounds like a beach level song. So I decided to make a beach level because of that song, you know? So it's really a mix of stuff. You know, changing some levels up to fit music better, or making some levels out of the box because of the song. It's a mix, you know?
When it comes to, I guess, sort of the process of making these levels as well, I mean, have you thought about sort of like the locations that actually exist? Like sometimes you said before that you built your actual house within these levels, or you've chosen certain geographical locations that are famous in Brazil. I mean, like how much of this game is sort of could you actually visit in real life, basically?
This level right now is a real location near my house. It's located near Niterói. It's actually a bus terminal, you know, here in Niterói. Niterói is like a city right beside mine, and I grew up there, especially during my adolescence years. And I went to public school there, and I went a lot into like this boat, you know, to go to Rio. Also, this boat leads to Rio. That's why the next level is in Rio itself, because this boat is used by workers a lot to go to Rio. So it's a real place, you know. So basically, also a lot of the levels are also in real places of Rio. For example, the next level right now coming up is Praça 15. It's a place that a lot of workers go to work. It's a real place, by the way. And also, a bunch of the levels are near my house. There's my house, like a full rendition of my house. There's a lot of São Gonçalo places because I live in São Gonçalo, and I wanted to see my city represented, the places that I actually go every day. So a lot of the levels are in São Gonçalo, by the way, because of that. And I would say that 90% of the game are places you can go in Brazil, like actual real places that I've been or that I want to go someday.
Did you do any photogrammetry some of the textures in here, are
Yeah,
they taken
yeah.
from your
Yeah.
own phone camera?
Yeah, this photo, for example, is from a thing that we call in Rio called VLT. VLT is kind of like a train, a small train that goes around some parts of the city. I took this photo that's used here, you know. So yeah, basically most of the textures are textures I get from Google or some shit, or photo bash stuff, or stuff that I took photos of, you know. I did a lot of Photoshop in a lot of things here, you know, taking real life photos and turning into crazy ass shit, similar to, I don't know how they did in Max Payne. Max Payne and at end of the 90s games have a lot of photo bashing, so that's what I try to do here. Edit photos and make some kind of Frankenstein shit that turn into other shit, you know?
To give people watching the stream some context for your audio, by the way, what temperature is it currently there in Brazil that you're currently battling with some fans in your background?
45 Celsius. I don't know how that would be in Fahrenheit, but that's really fucking high. Imagine it.
Like 100 degrees.
Yeah, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It's.
Well, I'm a robot, and I
terrible.
have the ability to do
Oh, you
conversions
do.
in my head. And that is 113 Fahrenheit, by the way.
Holy shit. So, that's actually why I have a cold and my voice is almost failing right now. Because I got a terrible cold. Because what's happening is that it's hot as fuck during the day and early night. Then during, like, I don't know. Like, I forgot how to say that in English. Like, after midnight, it's kind of cold. So, my nose is all fucked up because of that. That's
The
the
temperature
Brazil
changes,
temperature.
the fluctuation.
Yeah, there's some fluctuation, so that's why my voice is all fucked up. So yeah, this level that we are right now is actually in another place that is in Rio. It's São Paulo. It's right beside Rio. It's the place that grammar of the game lives, Rico Max. And man, I gotta say, São Paulo is really cold. Really fucking cold. And it's really, it has that New York vibe of like just having buildings everywhere. You need to get a car to go to like simple places. I'm not really a big fan of São Paulo. I really prefer Rio, I gotta say. But São Paulo is like our New York. It's great for business, you know. Really fucking good place for business. It's where stuff happens, you know.
I guess good
Looking-
for brush
looking
work as
forward to
well,
getting out
having a
there,
lot
too.
of structures and physical things to build.
Yeah, and also this level is based on a TV station from São Paulo called SBT. Here it's called BCT. BCT is like a abbreviation for Teta, which is pussy. I put that small joke right there, you know. And basically, SBT is one of my favorite TV stations in Brazil, and I want to make a homage to them, you know. And I grew up watching SBT because they have a really big kids focus, you know, kids programming focus. For example, a part of the level is a kids program called. That's like Good Day and Company, you know, there's a roulette and shit. It's a really, really personal thing for me. And now we're in another really personal level for me. This is Chupa Aba, which actually means, it means, I think, suck ass, okay? And it's inspired by a place called, a supermarket called Guanabara here in Brazil that has some really crazy ass anniversaries where food gets really cheap. It's kind of like Rio's Black Friday, you know? It's really popular. People punch each other for rice, beans and shit because it gets really, really fucking shit, you know? So,
I mean, that's exactly
yeah.
what's happening here. Obviously, all of the tormented and demented demons and football fans have gone astray, and I feel like they're unfortunately not as interested in rice. I guess in this context, they're a bit more interested
Yeah.
in in violence.
Killing.
I love the brushwork you did with these shopping carts at the entrance, by the way. Shopping carts that you have to walk over to go over the lava. This is a very good. I
love this.
I feel like it took me a couple times to realize what this was, but these are some beautiful shopping carts.
Yeah, they are great. I tried them. One of the things I try to bring is like a dreamlike or Basquiat-like look. That it looks like the thing, but it's exactly like the thing. You know?
Yeah.
Almost like
One time, JOEVENO, you told me this was like it's a nightmare. Like it's like a nightmare version of all of these things. So
yeah,
basically that's always how I see it now.
Yeah, you're dreaming or having a terrible LSD trip. That's kind of basically the visuals, you know. Really similar to Basquiat. Basquiat has this dreamlike, ethereal look to stuff, a piece of, you know, to stuff. I try to bring that into the game.
It's like a more abrasive, Lynchian, like not Lynchian because it's so abrasive. It's not like, but it's still that weird surreal dream state that he always liked to.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bit of how Mulholland Drive works visually.
Yeah. We talked about Mulholland Drive a couple weeks ago. I remember that.
Yeah. It's kind of like Mulholland Drive, especially near the end with the old grannies and shit. It has kind of that end of Mulholland Drive vibe to it. It's really trying to be ethereal.
Power up.
Yeah.
Oh, John's going crazy. See, we said he was a video gamer focused on video games. He doesn't have time to, unfortunately, partake in the speaking bit. He's a gamer. Like as people know by watching his content on Instagram, he plays a lot of video games. He gets asked to play a lot of video games, and I think he basically adds all of them to his immense backlog of games. For those that are listening in, he will get to those games most likely, but he's very focused and locked in right now, as you can tell by his beautiful facial expression.
Oh yeah, he's
we've talked a lot.
Dealer.
He's a pro. How would you rate his performance so far in this in your video game job?
He's doing really fucking good, dude. Speedrunner level, good shit.
Exactly.
Really good
he
shit.
could do this on nightmare difficulty and close his eyes. He's a professional.
Good stuff, man. High quality gameplay, I gotta say.
Exactly. This is your third game in this series. You're working. I've heard you mention previously before. There's both 3, 4, and 4. Do you want to talk a bit, I guess, about what you've been doing since the release of this game? Because obviously it's involved building more maps for this game, releasing this amazing friend slot crossplay we're currently experiencing. But you have more in the can that you're currently building, and you've you've posted videos about this. You've posted screenshots. What can you tell us that I guess you've also potentially told people already, but what's the John Wow exclusive?
Well, one thing that I gotta say, like, this is exclusive shit. The game's really fucking, like, it's coming along really well pre-4. I think that today I worked on the 14th level of the game, and I think it's gonna have 18 levels, like in the campaign. It's gonna have a lot more, like in deathmatch, or mode, you know. Basically, what I can tell you guys, one exclusive thing, 3-4 is gonna have a favela Nuketown.
Favela Nuketown. You have heard it here first. The 3-4 game will have a favela Nuketown.
Yeah. Also, yeah, it's made already. It's basically a ready-made map. Also, one thing that I always like to reiterate about pre-4 is that at this point, initially, we saw it as an expansion, but it's getting so fucking big, it's becoming its own thing. I would say it's almost like a full-on sequel by now. Almost like the next game.
It really is.
So you're saying 3-4 is getting silk-songed and that it's being delayed to future quarters? So I feel like gamers can't have another source.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
by this time it's getting really big, but because it's coming along really fucking well, it's not gonna get delayed. It's actually really ahead of schedule.
Yeah,
Like,
we are doing very
extremely-
well. We
Extremely ahead of
really
schedule.
want to focus on like locking in with like some of the other tech stuff that we have on the table for the future, as well as like kind of devoting a little more time to refining the multiplayer experience with what we can do for pre-4. There's going to be a bigger focus on like PvP multiplayer specifically with pre-4. I think we want to try to eventually have like dedicated servers and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like the game is coming along so well that we kind of just want to focus on making it like the best possible experience that people can have, and like the easiest way to play like games that use like Trenchface and like Quake like games, stuff like that. That's kind of the goal with pre-4.
Yeah, and it has a bunch of it has something that I really wanted to do with 3 that I didn't have the time. That is program a bunch of new enemies, like a lot of new enemies. I think it has 7 new enemies, like a bunch of new enemies, a bunch of new models for enemies, and also all the weapons have hands now. We basically remade all the weapons from scratch, like the models, even the way some of the weapons work. Like all the weapons have hands, and basically some guns changed drastically and became other guns. For example, there's a gun that we're still programming right now that's basically the Needler from Halo. Like the shots stick into enemies and they fucking explode. And it's like a beanball gun with a slingshot. We call that feijoada in Brazil. You know?
I think I just accidentally used the crappy rocket launcher to nuke John, and I want to say sorry to my creator that I think I just completely nuked you. I think maybe once we get through this game, we should do a little bit of multiplayer, some PvP action. But I mean,
Oh yeah.
let's get back to the discussions of this beautiful game. So, where are we at this point? There's a beautiful big sign up here that reads "Didn't Bet," and then some Portuguese that unfortunately I don't have the translation pack installed. So I'm going to have to get you to translate that for us if you don't.
Okay. That means demon bat. Bat, the vast queens. Thou fly killing the people. Bat on. Here in Brazil we have a really fucking big problem with bats, you know. Recently, online bats got really fucking big. Basically, imagine if a whole country became Las Vegas. That's what recently happened to Brazil. I'm not fucking joking. And things are getting really weird. Like, there's a lot of football players making rigged games to get money to their families. Things are getting really fucking out of control, so I really want to make a small critique to this really terrible problem with bats, you know? People are killing themselves because of bats. It's getting really fucking bad, you know? Basically, Brazil just became a terrible version of Las Vegas, like a utopian version of Las Vegas without the cool shit, you know? Without
Not
like
necessarily, it's kind of nice that Las Vegas is sort of, boxed into Las Vegas. Like what happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, I feel like you can't necessarily say that for an entire country, can you?
Yeah, you can't say that. But basically, what happens in Brazil stays in Brazil, but Brazil is almost like a continent. So that's really fucking bad, you know? It's kind of like, it's getting into a Hangover, the movie situation of Las Vegas.
Is it a lot of people from other countries coming there, or is it people that live in Brazil that are
No,
like,
it's
gambling?
it's especially people from Brazil, especially low income people. They're putting like
Jesus.
all their money and killing themselves. It's getting really fucking weird, dude. So I wanted to make a small critique on that. I know some personal people some close friends of mine that lost everything because of you know, putting money into that shit. Like, I'm not exactly yeah, I'm kind of betting in a safe ambient is kind of already kind of bad, but in a country scale is fucking scary.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point that we have something that gets the right and the left hating that in common. It's that
Yeah.
bad, dude.
I
Like,
guess yeah. If it's you know, thankfully on both sides of the path, hopefully that can change things. But yeah, I mean, I guess on the topic though of financials, I mean, you know, as much as this is a cheap video game, a lot of people have bought this cheap video game. From your personal sort of life, like how has the success of the video game affected yourself and those around you and your ability to produce future content?
man, it basically saved my life. Say, I was in a really rough money situation before this game. Before this game, I had a YouTube channel. I lived off YouTube for a while, and then the algorithm started fucking me up, and also I had some really shitty health issues. So basically, I was making this game, and I was like in the line of going to everything, and then this game went really well, and now it pays my bills. And also, not only that, it's the first time in my life that I'm able to express myself artistically in a way that people appreciate in a bigger level. I always thought that the way I did shit was really niche, and that people wouldn't pay for stuff I did, like, I would say, like, the weird ass shit. For example, in my first YouTube channel, I was a really formal guy, like a really clean guy. I had this persona that was really clean, almost childlike, and it was really trying to, you know, I thought that my personality wasn't a commercial personality, like my personal personality, not my persona. So this game kind of validated for me that, like, dude, your personality is really cool and people like it. Don't be shy about it. So I would say that
You've been able to be yourself and also turn that into basically a
Yes.
brand that you intend to make future games with. I think that's a big thing too, is that you haven't seen this as sort of a one-trick wonder, got a bunch of people to pay for your game on Steam, and you know you've sort of left them in the dust. I mean, I assume some of the Steam Link stuff is stuff that you intended to have for 3, 4, and future games, but obviously you've backported it. You spent a ton of time making new content, and I assume you've been putting that money back into developing more. So it's not as much as it's paying your bills; it's also sort of setting things up for the future and building a team as well. Like, you know, it was just it was you and yourself in Trenchface with some, you know, Quake people, but I assume you've been able to sort of grow a larger collection. I mean, we have a publisher playing with us who understands, you know, the content that you're creating, wants to push it sort of the medium further. So obviously things are going well, great in that direction as well, it seems to be.
Yeah, it's because I think that having a punk rock band before making this game ironically helped. Because when I had the band, I was like manager of the band, I would say, because, man, I gotta tell you, making games is a lot fucking easier than having a band. Because game devs usually aren't drunk, aren't using toxic substance, and you don't need to put that into a live stage, you know? It's a lot easier. So I got into gaming, like making games, and like working with people with all this administration package, you know? And it really fucking helped me out. I also cherry pick people to work with me. I don't go like, oh, I just met this dude, he's gonna work with me. No. I'm a really big cherry picker. I'm working with that because he understands my game, and especially he loves it, and he understands how to market it, you know? So,
It's
and also
strengths and sort of the type of people that would want to play it. Talking
Yeah.
about the game again, though, this is our first low gravity level, which I must say,
Yeah.
when I booted this level, I was very excited to be extremely floaty. I can see that John is currently having a blast jumping from ceiling tile to ceiling tile in what I assume is this huge mall. Can you tell us a bit about, this level and sort of playing with what the engine gives you? Because as far as I know, there is gravity within the original Quake game, correct?
Yeah, basically this mall is a local mall near my house called Partage. I go to it a lot because here in my town in São Gonçalo, there's not a lot of stuff you can do to entertain yourself. Just going to rock pubs and shit at night, but stuff to do like during days, basically going to this shopping center. And I really wanted to well, this is a place that I go almost daily. So I wanted to make a small homage to it. Places that are inside this mall. For example, we have this place, Re Happy. It's a parody of a toy shop that I go a lot inside this mall because I'm really into toys, especially Lego. You can see that from the ogre.
I have most definitely noticed that you've used quite a few Lego head models, which I love when you build these things and you can basically kick them around like balls. Explain, I guess, the character too, like your sort of profile picture you've used in places on your original channel. I guess even talk to sort of what you were as a YouTuber before the algorithm fucked you over and you went into game development.
Well, basically, before this game, I lived off YouTube. And I gotta tell you, making YouTube content, especially the kind of YouTube content I made, helped me a lot on game dev. Because usually I was that kind of guy that did videos comparing specs of consoles, kind of like Digital Foundry. So I was always into tech shit. But not only that, I also learned a lot of making videos about development of games. I remember doing a video, a 1 hour video on Sonic Adventures 2 development and the differences on its versions. I unironically think that video I made is probably the most detailed video regarding Sonic Adventure 2 development and its differences in versions you are gonna find on the internet, but it's in Brazilian Portuguese. Yeah, I was really a game development freak. I also did a lot of videos making game design docs, how would I make a 3D Sonic game, or how would I change Sonic Unleashed, or some shit like that. I did a lot of videos like that. I didn't notice, but I was basically studying game design at the same time I was doing the videos. They were fucking essential for the games they made,
I mean, a lot of people that have talked about sort of the YouTube algorithm over the years. Was there a specific point in time that all of a sudden your ability to create content and monetize it sort of fell off? Do you specifically know what happened, or was this a YouTube global change? Was this something specific to Brazilian Portuguese YouTube? I mean, how did, because obviously you still kept creating content, but something changed in the algorithm that sort of ruined your ability to monetize your channel.
Remember exactly when it all went to shit. It was in, I think it was June 5th. No, July 5th. 2022.
You know it to the date. That's insane. That must have been a bad day.
What happened was that I got a fake strike on my channel. And that basically fucked my channel bad. My channel algorithm went from 30k views on daily videos to 2-3k when I got the week back. So
Oh wow.
it was,
and obviously this wasn't something that you were able to dispute. Basically, this was sort of just one of those. I mean, I guess I'm going to assume the like
Yeah.
troll things that just sort of
Yeah.
go and like, you know. So I
That
guess probably looked into trying to resolve it, but YouTube is not exactly the easiest entity or Google to talk to directly.
Basically, I was actually able to remove the strike, but for some reason, the effect continued. You know. So yeah.
Unfortunate.
But yeah.
I noticed this level has a cat in it. I've seen people posting their pets to the subreddit for this game. Tell us a bit about, I guess, that sort of people enjoying these games and you basically just putting their textures into them. We also have, again, the dog with the binky, this time as a massive painting on a wall in this beautiful room. Tell us about that a bit.
What happened is that I really love this dog picture, and I've put it into, I think, the Amazon level, like the jungle level you guys played, and people were like, I really love, like, I noticed that the Steam community, almost everyone to this day, fucking screenshots that dog in that exact position. It's like the most common thing that happened in the game. So I was like, well, that's really cool. I'll put more animals into the game. So I put the dog with a pinky more times. And then I was like, man, I want to put other animals. For example, one of the dogs is my girlfriend's dog. One of the pictures. And a lot of the pictures are from fans. From the Reddit of the game. Discord of the game. And also from my good friends from New Blood. You know, my friends from the New Blood Discord. Shout out to them. I really need to get back to that Discord. I didn't have a lot of time to talk to them. Made some great friends there, dude. I love that Discord. You know, also the Quake guys. Thank you all. The Quake guys are also a lot supportive with the game. They're awesome. So, basically, this was basically me showing a really personal thing of mine, like this small studio that I live, you know, this small, I wouldn't even call it a house. It's all, I basically live in a room, small room, and I really want to make it personal with, you know, pictures of people that love the game and shit. You know, the animals, that thing that's really connected to the people that love the game. So,
have you added more images of pets to this level as the game in future updates? I assume,
yes.
you know, this level didn't start with this. I mean, I must say, I have some pets in my life that I might send you some PNGs of. So that would be a beautiful inclusion.
I'm also adding some animals to new levels. The next horde level is gonna have a pet from a good friend and also a YouTuber that made a video. Steve, you know, he sent the pictures of his cats. And I've put into the new horde level. That's the room of the. Also, one thing that I try to do is turn Divinity Tree into something not just personal for me, but also for the people that are working on it. So we have this guy, it's a Cake. He does the horde levels for the game. Nowadays, because I'm really focused on 3-4, I do some small changes to the horde levels, some tuning and shit. And basically this next level is gonna be something personal, his room from his house, his horde map. So he put like pictures of his, I think his sister, his young sister, and himself. And now I'm gonna put like this cats from Beak. And if you guys want, I can put like pictures of your animals too. You know.
Really,
Really
I mean,
soon.
you hit it here, folks. If you haven't, you know, someone who's watching this deep into the VOD, if you want to send images of your pet to JOEVENO, you will likely have a pet in a professional Steam video game.
Yeah,
more
send me over.
more PNGs of pets, the merrier.
All kinds, yeah. Send them. Send the pictures. There's more in this.
So
one. And look over. There's a giant fucking cat right over here.
Yeah, this cat.
I saw that's the specific one that I saw on the subreddit
I love
earlier.
this
So
one.
Yeah, it's really
cat.
fun. It's like a really squarish cat, and that became like really fucking big. Was the most liked thing on the Reddit for a while. So I put it really fucking big. also,
good
this
guy.
level has a really fucking
Yes.
personal connection to me. This specific level is Jiboya Yawai. I can assure you guys that the skate park doesn't look like this. It's a normal skate park, but I really wanted to make a homage to Jiboya. So I made like a Sonic-esque version of like Jiboya, also a Tony Hawk-esque version of it. I was watching like a documentary on Tony Hawk because I'm a really big Tony Hawk head, you know. And I was watching, I think the name of the documentary was like Pretending I'm Superman. And it was like 5 a.m. in the morning, and I was like, I really want to make a level because I love Tony Hawk. And then I remember about Jiboya DIY, a place in San Gonzalo that's also a skate park, but not only a skate park, a place that hit underground punk rock scene. Well, that shows. So I wanted to make a homage. There's, for example, there's a big fucking text here that's written, long live the San Gonzalo punk rock Jiboya DIY scene forever. And also, I sent a shout out to a good friend of mine, Tadel. Tadel is a guy that has like this studio near my house, and it's basically where I develop it as a singer, as a songwriter, as a musician, and also where I develop as a manager, you know. And also there's a shout out to the underground scene, that text. So this is a really fucking personal level for me, you know.
The skate levels are my favorite. The surf levels, skate level.
Yeah, I really love
This-
I
the
do
Amazon
I
is
think
so
a feature
fun.
request of anyone who's played a lot of VHOP maps or things like that would be if you could have gold source / source style surf mechanics, so it could actually be some BTD3 or BTD3 4 levels, just purely using some of the surf mechanics.
Actually, you can surf on Quake. That's totally possible. There's a bunch of surf levels for Quake, and I think
There
that
are.
makes.
I feel like I
yeah,
haven't. I've looked at a lot of Quake stuff, but I don't think I've ever seen a Quake surf map.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just simply
There's a
an
lot of them.
uncultured robot.
There's a lot of them, but they are kind of rare at the same time. But if you search up well, there's Quake surf levels that go back to like I think 1997. You know, there are some levels in the game that were actually a homage to some of those levels. Some of the chunks of the levels, small chunks, are references to some surf maps. I think the name of the map, the mod was, I think, Slide. You know,
It was. I do know about that. You reminded me of things I already know. It's in my database. I should know about it. Maybe just my
It's
my
that
ability to query.
damn RAM shortage.
Exactly. I've asked John to give me another 64 gigabytes for my long-term memory, but I keep forgetting things, unfortunately. And John makes some great money by his amazing content, but unfortunately the AI bubble has kind of killed things a bit. I do want to talk about that though, because I found this is both to you, Mr. Publisher Man, and John. You do seem to be sort of outspoken a bit about sort of not using agentic AI assets and things like that. I mean, obviously, we live in a world that's completely covered in that sort of thing. And I mean, I'm going to call out my creator here, Mr. John Wow, who does like a bit of generative art for some content. I mean, what's your thought on that sort of thing? I feel it's not as obviously the devil or obviously completely acceptable. Like, where do you draw the line? What do you like? Would you ever, add any sort of process into your game development, or is your intent to keep things as no LLMs as physically possible?
basically, I don't use AI for my stuff, I would say. Basically, that's it. I don't use AI, especially on the artistic side of stuff. I don't use AI in this game.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Does not use AI.
Yeah,
I
don't
mean,
use
I
AI.
myself might be an AI, but more of the regular sort of
The
synthesis
futuristic
kind, but,
robot kind's fine. It's yeah. My perspective is like, people are going to use it. I just, you know, I will say that there are times in the past that I used it as a tool. Of course, things are coming up. You know, we don't understand the implications of certain tools that we use, and then we gain an understanding from, you know, having people that know more than we do use those tools and you know, use them and explain them. But I just found that when I was using those tools, it made me less creative, and I just decided that with the business that I'm doing, I just don't want to use any of that. And other people are going to. I'm not going to be like super outspoken about like calling everything trash or whatever, but you know, it is. I think there is some level of I don't want to experience art that's created by something that's someone or like not a human, because art is inherently an expression of the human condition. Things that can't experience and that only like iterate on what they're prompted to can't actually create art to me. But it's, you know, again, it's not not something
It's
that
not.
I like. I'm not gonna like kick you off the island because you made a funny AI picture. You know, that shit's funny. It's just not for me, you know.
Yeah, basically.
I do feel when it comes to game development, it's a bit of a weird one, because I mean there are
It's a slippery
aspects
slope,
of it when
man.
it comes to it's the programming aspect I feel is the most.
You're gonna tell a programmer to not use Copilot at all? That's I mean, you know, it's just there's like what the line that you draw is it is what it is, you know. It's deeper than my understanding. My understanding is more of like art and like creating content and marketing and like publishing stuff and quality assurance and things that like in my opinion require a human touch. Programmers that want to use some kind of like level of AI use for their work to make certain things easier, I'm sure there's like practical applications that are just fine.
Interesting.
Basically, on the art man, I never use AI for anything in the game. Like,
talking about the game, we are in a broadcasting station. Where are we in the lore? What has De Silva got himself up to at this point in the game?
Well, all this time he was trying to find the right portal, and now he's on a TV station called Globi. Globi is a parody of Global, really fucking big TV station here in Brazil, and we're right now in a journal place, you know. Biggest telejournal here in Brazil is called Jornal Nacional, National Journal. And basically the demons changed its name to Cu, which means asshole. That's one thing that happened. Basically we're going through all the station. This small room right here is actually Big Brother Brazil. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Big Brother. Like,
I'm aware of Big Brother. My voice is from Britain, so which means I have some British information in my head. But we have us Brits are big fans of Big Brother.
Yeah, I kid you not. It's bigger than the United Kingdom. It's like the biggest show in Brazil, by far. Big Brother is the biggest thing in Brazil. Like, bar none. It's gigantic. People, when it starts, people just talk about it. It's absurd. It's really gigantic, and I really wanted to put this part of like Brazilian contemporary shit in, you know, because every January, February it starts and everyone starts talking about it. It's really fucking big. It literally stops Brazil. People just talk about it a lot. It's a really big thing here. Like, I don't know, it's been big here in Brazil since the early 2000s when it started. Like, it's in the level of getting almost 60% of the televisions of the country watching it. I think that in 2005, the end of it had around 57% of TV share just for Big Brother. It's really that fucking big. Not joking.
That's
I mean-
crazy. Holy
That's
shit.
a fact. That's a fucking fact.
That is wild.
Not
So
fucking
obviously, a lot of I guess things that are extremely popular in Brazil sort of went into creating this game. I mean, like when you've talked to players who've played the game and have consumed the same content, like what's the conversations that you have with your Brazilian players about the game? Is it a constant sort of discussion of like, did you see that graphic, or did you see that? Like, sort of when you're discussing this game with people that understand the culture more, what is that conversation like?
Man, everyone's just it's a different, totally different experience because you look everywhere and you understand everything that way. Like the discussions are like, you saw that reference to Chavo del Ocho, or you saw that reference to like saw the reference to like Big Brother, saw the reference to Jornal Nacional. Oh,
If you look at videos of like big streamers or someone that's played this game, or even when we were on airbag streams, there were people from like South America, there were some people from Brazil and like Argentina, and they just kept calling out all these references, and everyone that didn't know it learned so much by the end of that stream. But if you look at like Moist Critical's video of this, there's the comments are just like full of people that like know these like little like in jokes, like cultural memes and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's basically universal stuff. Like I try to make BDD a bit timeless. I don't focus on contemporary jokes. I focus on stuff that it's really part of our, all-time culture. For example, Big Brother is a really big thing in Brazil for like 20 years. Jornal Nacional is a thing that's been in Brazil since the 70s. For example, we are in a level that's a cultural landmark that exists for centuries. I try to bring something that I can assure you that not exactly the tone, but the places and the info are going to be timeless, Those are things that are part of Brazilian pop culture for like decades. And not only Brazilian pop culture, but like geographic culture, For example, we have the Contemporary Art Museum right here. This is the Contemporary Museum of Art in Troy. Like the spaceship. People usually gag saying that this shit looks like a spaceship, and in BDD it's actually a spaceship. And also, other things. This level has like some references to the Virginia incident, the first FPS game in Brazil, made in Brazil. I'm a friend of the devs, and also Rico Max, our programmer, is programming a remaster of Virginia incident, the first FPS game made in Brazil in 1998. Yeah, this game.
I've noticed that. I've seen a lot of interesting stuff with the sort of Unity revival of the ability to boot in those original assets and stuff like that. I feel like in a lot of your sort of like discussions of your game online, you've talked a lot about sort of the games you used to play, the cracked pirated versions of GTA, the Counter-Strike, either 1.6 or Source Rio map, correct? That was yeah. I feel like that's also a huge part of your inspiration is those that came before you creating mods for games in the 2000s.
Yeah, basically. During the 2000s and 2010s, Brazilians didn't have a lot of money. We were in a really shitty situation. To this day, we have a really poor situation in our country. So yeah, playing an original PS2 game was like selling a liver or some shit. So usually you buy a jailbroken PS2 and you buy pirated copies of games. For example, I didn't grow up with GTA San Andreas. I grew up with GTA Rio de Janeiro. That was like GTA with like football jerseys from Flamengo or other Brazilian teams. Radios were like replaced with like Brazilian songs or songs that were really popular in Brazil in the 2000s. You had radios playing samba, funk, and and even really popular artists from Brazil, like in GTA San Andreas, like, I don't know, I think it had Black Eyed Peas songs. Like, it was really nods from people that really wanted to feel represented. Like, they wanted to see their country. So they put, like, they made these mods that had, like, you were clearly seeing people that, even in a, you know, conscious way, were trying to feel represented in a game. And I think that fucking rocks, you know? Like, people were trying terrible times to put a little bit of their culture, of their country, stuff that they grew up with, to a game. And that's really the soul of, you know, BDD. Basically, turning that feeling of community-made content, especially Brazilian community-made content, and the way they wanted to be represented into a game. It's really the meat and potatoes of the game, you know? Like, me trying to get this thing that I never saw represented in commercial Brazilian game that I don't know why no one ever done that before. Probably because a lot of people prejudice for those projects. They usually say shit like, oh, those are terrible things, those are just mods and shit. People have a lot of prejudice for those content in Brazil. So, usually people don't embrace it. Don't embrace, like, this part of our culture in Brazilian games. And I try to bring that. You know? It's our history, you know? Our gaming history. We didn't grow up with, like, I don't know, a Nintendo 64. Most of us didn't grow up. This was like rich kid shit, you know, getting like a Nintendo 64 with like expensive cartridges and shit. This was out of our reality. We usually would go also to rent games. Brazilians rented games a lot. Not only they rented, but they would go to like arcades, but not exactly arcades in the traditional way, like arcades with Nintendo 64s or Super Nintendos, PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Like, people
Console
wouldn't have
arcades.
consoles of their own, so they would just go there to sort of play games that they could
Yeah.
rent time spent on basically somebody else's console, I assume.
Yeah, that's it. That's how shitty things were in Brazil, you know. For example,
I guess the thing is too, like, I've been interested seeing how focused you've been on attempting to be able to port this to Android. And my assumption is you want this to be the most accessible game ever when it comes to being able to play it on, you know, both a 5070, but then also Pentium from 2007.
Basically, initially, this game was gonna launch into early access alongside Android. But what happens that it's really, really fucking difficult to get Quake running on Android. There's a project from a dude that I've been trying to get into contact for almost a year by now, that made like a board called Quad Touch. I've been trying to get the source code. He said he was gonna send it to me, but I don't know what happened. Probably he had some personal issue in his life, or he stopped using Toon World and he didn't answer me back. So that's one of the reasons why the game isn't on Android right now. He's not trying to. I'm not saying he's trying to. I forget the name of it.
Well, I mean, he's breaking the GPL. He has to, if he's forked this.
I don't think he's trying to gate him.
It's not nefarious, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Do
not
tell us
trying to
though.
gate
This
him.
is one of my favorite bits. So we just played a level. The tower that we carried was the what's the name of it? I forget the name of it. The massive structure within Rio.
Oh, that's
The
the
Christ the Redeemer. Yeah.
And
Christ the
this
Redeemer.
is
And so now we see a
ironically-
smaller version of this, which has the tiny cart that we see in the middle. I think is my favorite bit of this entire level. Is a tiny cart that goes back and forth.
Oh
Yeah, it's
man.
basically the whole level. Took the geometry of the level and just put there.
Scaled it down.
Yeah,
It's
it's basically it.
hilarious. And
It's
so
the
De
whole
Silva
level.
has been scaled up. He's battled away all these gigantic versions of things. Like what's in the lore? Is this a portal that he entered in Christ the Redeemer that scaled him up to this size, or was this his intent?
Well, basically what happened is that once he entered the Christ Redeemer, he basically got big because Jesus wanted him to get big because he's battling demons. So we got this kaiju fight. That's
So
basically,
this is the power of Christ the Redeemer, i.e.
yeah,
Jesus, making
yeah,
De Silva the size of the previous map so that he could destroy the vast demons.
yeah. Also, this guy right here that you kill is like a multiplayer version of a guy called Edginho. Edginho is basically with Aya's nephew, and he'll guide you now to where you need to go. You just save him. No, you not actually kill him. You just destroy like this curse that he was in, and now he's in his house. And then now you're gonna find him. You know. Also,
Amazing.
I really hate these enemies in Quake that do like this telefragging thing that follows you. I hate that, and I turned it into a boss because I just wanted to see it once in the game because I personally don't think it has an AI of a traditional enemy. It's a boss, but
It
it's
doesn't, yeah. That was the weirdest bit when I was playing that level, is I thought I had destroyed all of the bad guys, but then there was this orb that would follow me and it killed me the first time I played it. And I
yeah.
was like, what is this? Is this
This
like
is
I assumed it was base game because I feel like this game hasn't done a ton to the enemies, but I was like, this is the weirdest base game introduction there is.
yeah. Also, I didn't use it again because this doesn't work. Actual
There's a
enemy, you know?
there's a lot of them in the master modes though.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't work like traditional enemies, you know, they seem like bosses. So I turned them into bosses because of that. You know?
Oh shit.
I think you made a great game design decision.
Yeah, because I think that having those enemies everywhere in the levels found insufferable for a traditional game difficulty. They turned that into what they should have been in Quake. Us, you know?
A proper enemy. So
Yeah.
when it comes to, I guess, the game as during its development, so you obviously started with Quake assets, eventually managed to sort of, I guess you could say, um, move the bulk of them to the point they're basically not there, either your own assets or Libra Quake. I assume a lot of Quake C for the enemy AI is pretty similar. When it comes to your future projects, now that you have more time, I guess, to work on it in future, larger teams, are you going to play a lot more with different enemy types and sort of making it your own sort of universe, basically? Like, is there still going to be Quake enemies in future games like BD3 and 4? Or, are we going to see more of your custom creations?
Basically, the enemies, my opinion, are perfect. The Quake
They're good.
enemies they're gonna continue, but I'm gonna create new enemies too. I think that baseline ground, the undershooting guy, dog, ogre, they are now a big part of PDD, you know. But they're gonna have different visuals, of course, in future titles. And also, I'll focus a lot more on new enemies. For example, for 3-4, I think we have around 7 new enemies. And for example, there's an enemy that's called the Flamikaze. It's basically the kamikaze from Serious Sam. And he does a really fucking loud scream, you know, based on a Brazilian meme called Beautiful WhatsApp, you know, that really popular meme worldwide. And basically he's a guy that does a really strong scream. And I thought this is probably the best scream I ever heard. I've sampled that scream in a bunch of songs, and now it's the scream of the enemy. You know? So the way they're introduced is so fucking good, man. You guys are gonna see it again before it comes out. It's basically loud as fuck and it almost bugs Quake up.
If you were to, there is a non-zero chance that John Carmack or John Romero has seen this game. Maybe they haven't, but if you were to sort of sit down and show them your work, how would you want it to be interpreted? What do you think John Romero would have to say about Brazilian Drug Dealer 3?
From what I know about John Romero, he's a guy that's really I think it has a Mexican or Native American heritage, and I don't remember exactly. I think he has Mexican heritage. So I think he will be really happy to know that a creation of his basically helped me voice representation for my country. I think that's what I would try to tell him about. Like, hey John, your game basically changed my life. I basically lived off, this incredible engine you created, where you and Carmack made open source, and I would basically thank him deeply for giving me a voice and changing my life, changing my life, but changing the lives of so many devs, Also, I would say that it's really incredible how he's also a really open person for open source, and I think the level beyond code. I don't know if you guys ever knew, but Romero released the dot maps for the actual maps of Quake. So I think he leans even more into open source.
Yeah, in the early 2000s, all of the Quake dot maps were technically. I think some people said that it was a bit ambiguous if they were truly open sourced. It might have just been John Romero having it on his computer and putting it into the world. But regardless, even if in themselves wouldn't have agreed with that, the people that sort of built this game and this engine did feel like it wasn't necessarily theirs, and that it was sort of right for other people to build on top of it. I mean, as many people know, you've talked about this in your videos before, but my favorite SVG on Wikipedia has to be the Quake Family Tree SVG, showing the original Quake engine to Quake World. Technically, BDD3 would indeed be a node in that tree branched off QSSM, correct? So
yeah.
you're technically part of
true.
that lineage, which is brilliant. And you'll find Call of Duty in there. You'll find all of the Infinity Ward engines. You'll find the Apex Legends based off of Titanfall, which was Alien Swarm, weirdly enough, in Portal 2. You'll see Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, because that's also a Motor engine.
Yeah, Motor is just it's a branch of VidTech. Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, John's brilliant content of Gary's mod, yet again, that's the Source engine. I mean, I feel like a lot of people have likely spent many hours on either gmod, Counter-Strike.
It's crazy. I've done work in Motor, and there's a lot of the console commands that are still just like the same thing. They just do the same thing. It's fucking amazing. It's good. It's like it's such a crazy lineage.
You used in your videos that GIF of the original Quake 1 or the Half-Life 1. I think people assume it's Half-Life, but it is actually Quake. The flashing light that lived its way all the way through Quake to Half-Life Alyx, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Basically, if the code ain't broke, don't fix it, dude.
Honestly, it's not. Yeah.
Especially now, man, everything needs to be optimized. We already have something that's super optimized that we can use, so use it.
Yeah, this runs on every shit imaginable. 15-year-old, 16-year-old hardware. But yeah, why change? Also, it's a really modular engine. Not very much compared to, I don't know, Quake 2 or Half-Life, but it's really modular. Quake C is something that if you have some C background, you're gonna learn really fast. You know? So yeah, it's basically a life-changing engine, and it's probably the best way to get into game design, I would say, because it's really easy to use tools that inspired a lot of modern tools, you know, a lot of modern engines. So you're gonna have a foot on a lot of different engines by making Quake or Half-Life mods, you know, or even gmod mods.
I mean, obviously, Cruelty Squad, I feel, is a massive inspiration that you've sort of talked about when it comes to gaudy art style and crazy graphics. And I feel like this is very much known, but Vale, I forget its name exactly, he used Trench Broom heavily with Godot, or I believe Funk Godot, to be able to use the same tools that you've used to build BD3 and future games, but to use that for the Godot engine. So you're not even limited to, I guess, having to use the id Tech stuff. You can still sort of use some of the approaches and tools and technology to still build your own video games.
Yeah, because Trench Broom especially is really easy to hop in. Really easy, dude. Like, you basically, as I said, I think I said, that first map for BDD3, first time I ever used Trench Broom. It's really that easy to use. It was the first time I did a Quake mod too, so yeah, it's a really simple framework to use for making maps. You know, so yeah, Cruelty Squad was a big inspo for me visually. And it's really good to know that I use the same tools for level design as Cruelty Squad. I didn't know that before, not before you told me. I knew that a little bit while, but not while developing BD3. That was a good coincidence.
Interesting. So you didn't even know that Ville had used Trench Broom while you were building this game.
I didn't know that, so it's a really fortunate coincidence. And it really helped to be visually similar, because just to start, I was thinking about Cruelty Squad when creating this too. So yeah, it's a really good coincidence, and really helped to have visuals similar to it.
I think this is one of my favorite levels too, just from a purely, it's a vertical level that takes place within the confines of a subway system. And you have a lot of the turnstiles for all the things. I mean, yet again, we've talked about this before, but like, is this based off of a real life metro that you've been to?
Mix of real and fictional. Here in Rio de Janeiro, there's the metro in Rio, Metro Rio. But this level is, I kid you not, the subway station from Max Payne 1-1 recreated on Quake. I'm not kidding. I recreated the subway station from Max Payne level. Because Max Payne has a big Brazilian connection with 3. So I wanted to make a small homage to Max Payne. You know, because it's really connected to Brazil. I think it's the only AAA game with that's focused on Brazil. So I really wanted to make a homage to that. I know this is from Max Payne 1, and Rio is like a place in Max Payne 3, but it's still the same series, you know.
So obviously, you know, you've based your work off of Trench Broom and Quake and so on and so forth, and you encourage people to do stuff. What would you say to someone, you know, maybe a few years younger than you, who also lives in Latin America and is into the same sort of thing? Like, what would be your route? Because I mean, when it comes to creative work, you can't just say you're gonna boot open Trench Broom and start building the next, you know, masterpiece on Steam. I guess in your example, you had built, you said before, 11 games prior, or BD3 is your 11th game. What would you say to people, you know, I guess around the world, that like are inspired by your work and might want to be able to do something similar in their own sort of style and their own sort of approach?
Just do it. Basically. Just do shit.
Just do it.
Just
You
do
heard it here first.
I'm unironically. That's simple. Go create shit. Go learn shit. Go have fun with it, especially. You know?
How have you
And
felt,
I'll-
sort of, I guess, showing people, you know, because I guess you didn't necessarily release it to the world so early, but during development, I mean, ideas of the textures you use, the locations you have, like how much of that was sort of you yourself to your own ideas versus conversations you've had with friends and family? Because you mentioned that your wife was even the inspiration for how you started this entire project to begin with.
Basically, the world around me, my story built this game. Even my wife, she's a really direct part of all this. She now works actively on the games. She's basically a creative consultant now. So she gives me a lot of ideas for levels, for concepts.
I think the fans have taken over your microphone a bit there.
Oh yeah. Basically, my wife helps me a lot with ideas and shit. You know, she's basically the creative consultant and also one of the creative directors of the games. You know, so let's say I have an idea for a level. She goes like, "Oh, it'd be cool for you to add this," or I don't know, even for direct level concepts, she would say, "Oh, that idea would be really cool," you know. And not only that, even the fans help out too. A lot of level ideas came from fans, and even from my friend DJ Dengue. DJ Dengue helped me design the final level for BDD3. He had like this idea of, why don't you put Aya on a cage with Fast Demon? And then now we have the level, the end level from BDD3. Because of Jay Dengue's idea. So it's a really collaborative game, you know. A lot of ideas, basically how it came out, people around me, you know, the community, are essential for the style
Yeah.
of the game.
We've like identified and kind of work with some other like people described as what you said. They're the people that are like younger than JOEVENO, newer devs, and it's like Stupid Cake, Raphael. We have them doing some work for like horde maps and future stuff with like PDD pre-4s, some of the animations or the character models. We're trying to help foster young talent from Brazil to be able to like, express themselves on a platform that we kind of have, because this is I don't know if you know the like there's just like so many trade agreements that make it so difficult for any of these like super talented people to make any kind of money on Brazil, and like the money can be scarce, but the talent is just incredible. So we want to do everything we can to help from a position that we're in now. That there's been some success here. We want to spread that, because even, you know, as someone who's not Brazilian culturally or like it's my nationality at all, I can identify the talent that I see, and it's absolutely incredible. Some of the stuff that's going to be coming out, literally incredible things are coming out of Latin America right now. I can't say anything. I can't say it better than Akita.
He dropped one of the best quotes you guys have in the trailer as soon as the game came out, so I feel like that was both an amazing quote to use and also an extremely true statement.
It's really true. There's these people, like, I mean, to me, I'm in my 30s, like, and these are like almost like kids, man. But they're just brilliant. The stuff that they can come up with, and we just want to foster.
We
that,
got
like,
the sequence. I must say, I'm going to interrupt for a second. Is this supposed to be a Stargate portal? Because it looks like a Stargate portal.
Yeah, basically it's the actual portal to hell.
This is the portal to hell in the favela.
This is the portal.
We need to close it.
So Da Silva has been looking around for the portal, going into stadiums, going into all sorts of places, and he's finally found it. And this is
Yeah.
the beautiful bit where the enemies get thrown out of the portal, and as the staircase slowly rises, you have to do a lot of damage. As John is, you can see he's currently extremely focused on killing. Oh, and he's passed it.
He is
But
very
thankfully,
focused, isn't he? Look at him.
We're
Wow.
still in the level, therefore we can visit the bit that triggers the next bit of the level. It's okay, John. We've got you sorted.
Alright, final boss.
And I iterated this level so much. Holy shit. There were so many versions till it was like balanced, you know?
God,
Took
there's
some time.
so many more enemies.
Yeah, because of the enemy amount. the
This
way
feels
I
like
think-
this feels like your first taste of like a master mode, like the really hard versions, because there's just so many enemies.
The amount is crazy.
Yeah, there's around 79 enemies here. There's a lot of dudes.
Within a very short
Tight
amount
space.
of space.
It's like
Yeah.
similar, and that's similar numbers to the first. I've redone the master levels for the first map and Salga, actually the DJ map. Those enemy numbers, I think there's like 80 something in the first
Holy
map.
shit.
There's like 80 enemies or something like that. Compared to I think
John
there's
is
like
currently
17.
slaying the So within the lore, tell us what's happening here. So we have these buttons that have the football team on them, and we're in hell with the demon, and how are we defeating this?
Well, what happens is that basically, Vask Demon hates the team Flamenco, so his weak point is Flamenco, the symbol. It's kind of like, you know, a demon when you show a cross to them, you know.
And John has
And-
done it. John has destroyed the demon. The sports
Yeah.
team was too powerful.
So basically, John killed him with the power of Flamenco, just like showing a cross to a demon and saving Mitaya.
Here he is.
There he is.
Amazing.
Congrats, John. You saved Mitaya, dude. Great fucking job.
How do you feel? How do you feel, John? Can you give us a big old smile, or can you show us?
Give us a
There
smile.
he goes.
Hell yeah. Hell
He
yeah.
loves it.
Hell yeah. Good stuff.
Midaya's looking jolly too. He's happy.
He's back from the dead. He's able to make more Brazilian classic tunes. Hopefully,
yeah.
the world has got back to being normal again. Beautiful.
Fireworks. Hell yeah. You
And I must
destroyed-
say, the fact that you have this sort of sequence at the end as the end credit sequence is fantastic.
The text files are messed up.
Hell yeah.
It's weird.
We love hashtag Quake C. You can still read the text that are physically based around the map.
True.
QC
Yeah.
QC end. What a brilliant end to us playing through the main story.
We got Heaven. This is one of my favorite songs in the OST. It's so fucking good.
This level is like a stairway to heaven.
Amazing escalators that don't actually move you up. You have to walk on them to head forward.
Yeah. You have to
So it
go
is in
your
heaven.
way to heaven. This is the Heaven Coliseum.
You can go in the pit in the middle and just like jump really high in the air. Boom. Also, cool thing with this is like we just did the main game, but there's actually so much more content we could do from this because we have a really fucking cool modding community, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just like there's just so much I'm a big fan of like D&D, and it feels like, oh, there's like a new campaign to play with like my friends. It feels, I don't know, because it's obviously not like a D&D fantasy, but it just feels like, oh, like new stuff to do. It's just neat. I don't know. What did they
You
make?
have to leverage the existing sort of people that are extremely into making sort of extravagant Quake maps, right? Oh, we're right back into where we started.
Mm-hmm.
We're back in here, and unfortunately, it seems like the vast demons are back. But I guess canonically, we've saved Mid-Aya, and everything is fine again.
Oh, yeah.
You guys want to run? You guys want to play a death match?
Let's play a death match, and then John can surely show us.
So let me show you guys a secret level.
Oh, secret level. Let's see that. So is that? Oh, this is the. Yeah, this is the. We fixed it.
What if the eclipse didn't happen?
Oh wow!
There's a cop.
There's a
copy.
PS2 in your room with a copy of the Grab Auto on the Pla 2. I think they should make a PS2 controller. That's a massive brick the size of your television.
The PS2 controller is fucking awesome.
Yeah. And it also has
Oh,
a
yeah.
PS2 with multiple PS logos, like 1.5. You know, it's almost a PS2.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Here in Brazil, we grew up with the PlayStation 2.
What was your what would you say would be your top 5 PS2 games, including, of course, the ones that are pirated and beautiful?
Well, if we count like the modified versions of games, I think my favorite would be GTA 4 for PS2. Like, it's GTA San Andreas with Nico skin on top of CJ. And there's a mod menu. You can spawn shit. You can go to missions. There's a recoil thing mod. Get out of nowhere. There's a bunch of Brazilian radios. A bunch of football jerseys. A bunch of Brazilian pop stuff ads. Also, I think that top 2 would be GTA Tropa de Elite. The Elite Squad is a really big movie here in Brazil, and there's a GTA San Andreas version of it. It's also a game that I played a lot. For some fucking reason, I could turn into Superman and fly on that. Fly. And I really like that. Also, I really like playing Resident Evil 4 with a mod menu that gives me infinite health and guns. It was a really cool way to play the game. Also, Devil May Cry 3. I don't know, Bully. That's 5.
I think,
what map should we do?
I think
deathmatch.
Yeah, John is fiending to frag some people. What do you think would be a good map to jump into?
Well, there's a map made by a Russian guy. The name of the map is gmod 2.
Is it in
really cool.
The workshop?
No, it's in the game itself. It comes with the game. It was made by a Russian speedrunner called Automatic Law. LOL. Automatic LOL.
Barako?
Yeah, Barako. Barako 2.
Okay.
It's a really Quake Arena-like level.
Yeah, let's see if John gets that. We'll join up.
John just killed me, hell yeah. Gotta admit, I'm not really good at competitive shit, so yeah. More into co-op. So yeah, I'm not really good. My own game, it happens. And I got telefrag, hell yeah.
Oh shit, that was me.
Got telefrag. It's really fucking crazy, this level. Automatic did a really good job.
Yeah, this is great.
And I got a terrible code, holy shit.
Sorry, making you talk for a long ass time.
And my code is really... But it's getting better. It was worse yesterday. Doing good.
Robot's locked in.
Man, John locked the fuck in. He's killing us. Good job.
Look at, I mean, look at it. Look at the intensity on his face right now. He's absolutely locked the fuck in.
Focused. Dude is focused.
Oh, shit. So,
Oh yeah, he already has 6 kills. Good job. Good job, John. Yeah, I got telefrag. Hell yeah.
Telefrag is brilliant. Honestly, I do think telefragging is a brilliant feature.
when
Yeah.
there's like, we've played with like 7 or 8 people in some of the levels, it's just so great. Like it takes a while to get started. It's like a second
fun
loading
as fuck.
screen.
It's funny as fuck.
I don't
What's
want to
the most people you've played with each other? Because I mean, I saw in the friend slot Steam networking you're advertising 255, which I do know as a robot is a nice, binary number. So is that just an engine limitation you pushed up quite a bit?
Yeah, it's an engine limitation. The Quake engine, QSSM can go up to 255 people in a lobby.
We have no idea what'll happen if that happens.
Yeah, we don't know.
We want to find out really bad.
Yeah, we
I
really
think
want to
that we
see
should
that.
put together our combined audiences and try and get 255 people lined up in a room together to
Somebody
see.
needs.
And
somebody needs to be
maybe
willing
in
to
a
map
map
the
that
computer.
has quite a few info co-op spots, you know? Maybe that
Yeah.
would be a little bit less fun with telefragging, because you're definitely going to telefrag. You'd be running into limitations with brushes on the amount of info and player spawns you'd have in the level.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
I
would have
think-
to just be repeated space for spawn. Like every space would have to have like a spawn point.
Yeah. I think that if we ever do the 255 thing, we'll probably do a nuts map for that, you know?
I'd say
You
you
know-
could probably even rationalize building a map just for that sort of event. Like make use
Yeah.
of the entire space that Quake allows you to have maps within. Probably have some verticality into it, because if you got 255 people, every section of that map would be insane.
Yeah. I think I'll make that one for Pre-4, probably.
Yeah, maybe QuakeCon. Maybe QuakeCon
Yeah,
next year.
for QuakeCon.
Ooh.
That's the dream, honestly, is if we can get a LAN party of like 255 people playing BDD3 at QuakeCon.
Yeah,
that's,
that would be the dream, dude.
That's
I
the
hope
goal.
we can do that. If
It's the
we're able to
30th
do
anniversary of Quake. Never a better time to let us do this.
Yeah.
Play Brazilian drug dealer 3.
Yeah, never a better time.
It's
Have
the
you
best time
interacted with I guess people that have contributed to QSSM? I mean, I know that
Yeah.
BD3 is mentioned officially on the QSSM website. Like, what's your relationship with the author of QSSM?
Well, Woods is the head of QSSM. He's a dude that helped BD3 a lot in the beginning. You know, like after early access started, he was really supportive. You know, he really liked the project, and always when I had some issue with QSSM, he would help me outright. You know, so the QSSM guys are really cool friends of mine, especially Woods. Woods is fucking awesome, man. He helped me a lot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I do find the community is extremely friendly. Like, no one really, because this is a GPL engine, and anyone can sort of pick it up and run it. It's like no one clutches their pearls of their own source port or their own content potentially. A lot of it is very open for remixing and interpretation.
Yeah.
I honestly wish I would see more like more of these big Quake mods just kind of get released on Steam as well, but I don't know if they will, or I don't know. If Arcane Dimensions was on Steam, I'd buy it for like $10.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, there's so much content out there. I guess technically, to a certain degree, other people would have to ensure that they, use LibreQuake and things like that to make sure they don't have any other problems. But I would heavily agree that there's a lot of people that, already are making content and basically just, post it to Game Banana and ModDB, which there's nothing against. But why not put it up in a format people can play?
People will pay for it.
Steam networking and store page. Like, I can agree. Like, it's nice to own a game in a Steam library. It is the closest thing we have to sort of ownership within this digital realm, and a downloaded mod on your computer versus an app ID sort of has a different feel to it.
Yeah, if both are available simultaneously, I think it's the best.
Yeah, also, nowadays, because of all the code we made for BD3, probably the best time to do a Quake engine game. Because now you have achievement support, you have Steam Relay support, you'll have workshop support, so just do it, man.
Yeah, or if there's like devs that did that, like I keep saying Arcane Dimensions because it's like the big one that I've been playing recently, but there's others. If they could implement that and they could have their own game that has workshop and point shop and all of these crazy Steam things, and even if it's not for that directly, you have that framework. Make something new that you can. Like, I think the future is
people like playing. People,
do that. Yeah.
I know that I want to hop into a lobby with, P-move physics and all the guns and the ability to hit tab to quickly join different lobbies. Like, I know, I mean, obviously, I'm... myself and John are basically customers of this type of game, and we're not the only ones. There are people that enjoy BDD3 from a purely funny Brazilian game perspective, but then you've got people like myself that genuinely want to play more Quake content and love big boxy trench broom brushes and telefragging. Like, this has a player base.
Yeah, it's built in.
Honestly, what I can do to help more games like this come out, I would do whatever is needed, I really want to help this community, because honestly, I am where I am right now because of the help of the Quake community, everyone that believed in my project, everyone that played it. I'm where I am because of them. So I'm really wanting to give back. This basically Quake saved my life. Unironically, I now have money to buy, not buy, but pay rent, I have money to pay for food, I wasn't in that exact position before this game, so I just want to give back as much as I can because I know that Quake can be life changing. Unironically, life changing. You know, it can help you get from a terrible position, like almost going to the streets, you know, being a bum or some shit, and getting to living as a game designer, traveling through Brazil, going to the United States and shit, meeting cool people. You know, Quake can change lives deeply, and it's been doing that since the 90s with Half-Life, the Team Fortress guys, Counter-Strike, you know, because Counter-Strike just exists because it was initially a mod for Quake, Quake 2 to be more exact, you know. Also, the dev from Counter-Strike, he started as a dev because he did a mod for Quake called Navy SEALs. That's where Counter-Strike actually started.
That's, I mean, all that Quake family tree branches off because people modded Quake. Like even like other companies, like machine games and stuff. A lot of those people had their start modding Quake, and
Yeah.
eventually the engines evolved, and they were, you know, business happened, and yeah, the engines just are branched off, and there's so much that comes from Quake.
Yeah, that also happened with a friend of mine, Chance Glasgow. He was talking to me. He's one of the co-founders of Infinity Ward, and he lives in Brazil. He lives in Rio, by the way. We had some food together. Sometimes he's a great guy, and he said to me, like most of the people that were like initially Infinity Ward were Quake modders, people that do Quake mods, you know. So
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like Return of Capital Wolfenstein directly, you know, based off of, you know, Quake 3's stuff. So even like with what people sort of talk about, I find that, I mean, I'm a robot that does a bit of my own development. Studying Quake's netcode has been fantastic for sort of seeing how like, client-server architecture works and different sort of extremely like, technical topics and like the Steam system that you've integrated. Like we played through the entire game from start to end, amazingly, from a game from '96 with some brilliant mods that your team has put together to make it work over a Steam connection. I mean, obviously both technical ingenuity from people that built this engine back in the '90s, to obviously, you know, the the stuff the stuff that you've put into it too, and that you've given back into the community with the open source repository. But amazing work. I mean, I say this as someone who's, you know, a fan of your work and has followed this game, and thankfully has, you know, been pretty thankful this has been well received. And I mean, you know, it seems that you're hopefully only getting started when it comes to content that you've created with this engine from, you know, and the ability to sort of express yourself and to allow other people to express themselves using this medium. I mean, you know, you'll get some people who will be like, haha, BD3. And I mean, why not? Obviously,
Yeah,
from a
that's fine.
marketing perspective, you're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
lean
fine.
into that.
that's fine.
It's fine. It's art. People
get
are
a
allowed to
lot of
perceive
people
art
that
in
love-
many different ways. Some people will look at something like, to reference JOEVENO, like a Basquiat painting, and think, oh, that's fucking weird. But someone will look at it and like really feel, you know, drawn to it or something. And it's just people's taste. But if we can, I don't know, if it can just make somebody laugh or just see a really funny long name game that somebody's playing, like a dog what the fuck you playing moment, like if that's what this is for your experience with it, that's great too.
Yeah.
But it can also be a complete platform where people can create and like share things with each other and have a lot of fun, so it's that too.
Yeah, basically the bottom line is just make people have a good time. People that are really into the game have a way to express themselves too.
I just realized that there's no SV cheats, therefore I can no clip, and I am now no clipping around the map.
Hell yeah.
Yet again, I consider this 100% an amazing feature.
Yeah, man. I think the no clip was essential for the development of the game. It's really good to see like problems in maps and shit. It helps out a lot. It was a blessing for me to have this building into Quake, you know. It's also one of the best no clips in any game. It's really solid.
It is.
Cool thing
Better
with
than
this too
Source.
is
You don't get the massive, error in the void when you look around. It's a beautiful, lovely gray.
Yeah. So really, it's basically code from John Carmack, John Romero, Abresh, Michael Abresh, It's just code from the best fellas you could get, It's their final hoorah to the old id Software,
They did good.
They went out with a bang.
back here.
There should be a game mode. There should be a map in which whenever you spawn, there's just no clip. So it's just sort of maybe like a heaven-style game mode with low gravity.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That actually, that's
Also-
a pretty cool idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually a
All
really
right.
cool idea.
I think Mr. John, the epic gamer who has been fragging us and has 74 kills. I think
Goodness.
the amount of work that he's done to get through your beautiful game and do all the fragging, I think this calls for us to maybe stop the violence, make our way to the top of the map, and let's just get a nice little hurrah to those that have tuned in, watched this beautiful stream, watched the VOD of the stream. I mean, what's happening? Where can we find out about more of your future projects and content? And when can we be waiting for more horde maps and more content?
Well, first I want to thank for the opportunity. It was a great fucking time, John. Really fucking good time. Also thanks, Harry. Really good time. Harry the bot. Really good time. I had a really, really fucking good time. You guys are legit. Jeez. I gotta tell you, basically, if you guys want to follow our work, you can follow me on Twitter, JOEVENO, I think it's W, I don't know, it's YT, JOEVENO YT, and you can follow also No Quarter on Twitter to know about more news. Not only that, follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JOEVENO Official. Follow me there, official with just one F because it's in Brazilian Portuguese. Also, yeah, follow me on Blue Sky, JOEVENO, you're gonna find it there. JOEVENO.Blue Sky or some shit. Also follow me on TikTok, JOEVENO something. I don't know, JOEVENO something.
You'll find it.
Yeah. And
You've got all your grounds covered.
yeah, and buy the game on Steam. It's on promo right now. I think it's 30% off right now, really cheap. You can play the game with friends as we're doing right here. It's really fun as fuck. Not saying that because I'm the dev, because honestly, I've been playing this for, I don't know, almost 2 years by now. And I didn't, feel like, oh, I don't want to play this anymore or some shit. This is actually a really fun game, especially because it uses the Quake foundation, and Quake is perfect, So I think you're gonna have a good time. I also recommend you guys to give this game as presents for your friends. I think it's a really cool present, for example, for the name, because when they see on Steam, they see, oh, what the fuck is that? And they have a little gag, then they play, they see it's a cool game, they have a good time. It's a really good present to start the year, So yeah, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, follow me on all the stuff at No Quarter Soft. I'm gonna be if you're in the like Washington D.C. area next weekend, I'm gonna be at MagFest doing interviews. If you feel like coming, saying hello, I will be dressed as a goblin and I'll have a giant green microphone. I'd love to talk to you, so let's hang out. If not yet, follow me on all the places, and appreciate the support. Go buy Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. I opened a portal to hell in the favela trying to revive Mid-Eye. I need to close it. Thanks for having us on, John. You're my favorite content creator in the world.
John is fucking awesome.
John, as my father, my robotic creation of yours, I think I'm gonna go rogue.
Oh shit. He's gone.
Oh,
He's gone.
No! John! John! I
Oh,
can't
he killed
believe
him.
this!
He killed his son. This is like
no.
this is like that painting. He's like that painting.
Holy shit.